Hey there, Sebastian here, Candle Business Pro. In this video, I'm going to answer more questions that viewers like yourself have asked us. So you can submit questions to us a couple of different ways. You can submit them in the comment section below, or if you're inside of our free Candle Business Pro Facebook group, you can also ask questions, and some of them I will hop on in video here and answer for you. So let's get into it. Just a quick reminder, we do have a checklist of all the supplies that we use to run our candle business with. So from our 140 wholesale accounts to our 3 brick and mortar stores and our online business, all the different things we use from the waxes, the wicks, the oils to the wick setters, the heat gun, all that kind of stuff. We have it's completely free. If you go to candlebusinesspro.com/checklist, you can see that. Also, you can see some resources in the description below if you want some more resources or help with your candle business from us. So let's get into this today. Okay, so the first question comes from Rochelle. Rochelle asked how to get maximum hot throw. What is the best wax to use? Okay, so that's a great question. There's always debate about is soy better, is paraffin better. You'll have to do your own research and come to your conclusion on what is actually a better wax. We personally do soy wax, but the reason we do soy wax is because that's what our customers want. Not that we believe that it's better than paraffin or better than other kinds of waxes out there. It's because when customers come into our shop or online or at markets, they'll say, "What are your candles made with?" And we say they're made with soy wax, and they say, "Oh, perfect. I don't want that other stuff." So whether it is a marketing ploy that the soy wax community has created to sell soy candles or not, I don't know. I don't get into that discussion. I make products that my customers want, and my customer, that is my target audience, they want a soy candle. Now, you may have a customer that wants the crazy strongest possible candle out there, and that's their only concern. And that might be a paraffin based candle, and that's fine if that's who you're selling your candles to. Completely fine. Whoever your target that you're selling your candles to, whatever your niche is and that audience, what they want, you're making candles for them. Some are going to care about the wax type, some aren't. So to answer your question about maximum hot throw, I would say going with a paraffin based wax is going to be your best bet. Now, you can get a paraffin soy blend to where you can kind of get the best of both worlds, where you can still advertise and market it as a soy blend because that's exactly what it is. But it has that paraffin in there that is going to hold more oil, which in turn can give you a stronger hot throw. So that would be the road I would go down. Every supplier, depending on who your supplier of choice is, should have a paraffin soy blend wax. So I would recommend checking out a couple of those, seeing if the prices is right. It's going to come down to how you make your candles and the quality of the components that you're putting in there. So your wax, your oil, your wick, all those together is going to make up a candle that you can measure your hot throw and adjust accordingly based on if it's not enough hot throw, you may need to go up in your oil. And if your wax doesn't allow for you to go up in your oil, you may need to change wax. You also need to keep in mind that the wick of choice is going to be important. What I've always said, everyone promotes this wick or that wick is better. I would go to whomever you're getting your wax from should have a recommended wick for that wax. So if you buy your wax from Makesy or you buy your wax from Candle Science or any of the other suppliers out there of wax, they will give you wick options. And most likely those are going to be the best ones. I know that we have all kind of shopped around and tried to find a better wick because we don't like the performance of the wick that we are using in a wax. But a lot of these waxes are going to be where they need a specific kind of wick. So start with what the manufacturer or the supplier, excuse me, of the wax suggests and stick with it until you can get that candle to burn right. If you're getting that candle to get to where you're not tunneling, you're getting a full melt pull, it's not going too hot, you're doing all the precautionary measures of your testing and everything comes out great. But if you're not getting the hot throw that you're wanting from it, you're going to need to increase your oil percentage if your wax will allow for it. If you're not getting the hot throw that you're wanting, but you're still able to go up in a wick size, meaning you can burn hotter, you can possibly switch to another wick. But I haven't found that switching to, buying my wax from this supplier and then grabbing a wick from this supplier. just personally hasn't worked for us. We get our wax and our wick, and so we get some supplies from Candle Science, we get some supplies from Makesy, and whoever we get our wax from, that's who we get our wick from. We have tested other wicks, and they just haven't worked out better than the wicks that have been suggested. So when it comes to maximizing hot throw, making sure that you are making candles that are getting that full melt pull without going too hot. That should just be in your own testing of how you make candles to make sure you're staying within the limits for it to be a passing candle. You can obviously reach out to us about what we use as far as for our passing guidelines in our candle making course, or also in our candle making boot camp. We actually take you step by step on exactly what we consider a pass, what we consider a fail, and what we measure. There's a lot of misinformation out there about you of measuring different things that aren't really necessary. There's a couple things to measure that keeps it very simple and very easy to gauge if you have to go up or down in a wick. But that's a topic for another conversation. So hot throw, you can always max out your wax. Some, the paraffin waxes are going to hold more oil than your soy. So you could always switch from a soy to a paraffin or paraffin blend to get a stronger hold capacity of oil. So hopefully that was a long-winded answer, but hopefully you understand where we're going with that. Next question here is from Mary. What supplies are needed when first starting a candle business? Okay, so as I mentioned earlier in this video, you can go to candlebusinesspro.com/checklist, or you can see it in the description below. And that is all the supplies that we use to run our business with. Again, from our wax, our oils, where we get our vessels from our heat guns, our wick centering tools, our melter, everything that we use to run our business with, you can actually get on that checklist that we have provided for you, and it's completely free. As far as you're going to find some things on there that you aren't going to necessarily need, or you can modify, right? So instead of having a wax melter, you can certainly do a double boiler method of heating your wax over a stove. I just wouldn't recommend it. I think that if you're going to take this serious and you're going to get to a point of making candles to sell, you're not going to want to sit over a stove with boiling water and doing all of that. So I give you all the supplies on that checklist that you would need. Now you can scale back on some of those. We have a different scale for our wax as than we do for our oils. We want our oil scale to be super precise, where our wax scale we're going to do by the 10th of an ounce rather than the 100th of an ounce that we would do for our oils. So things like that, you don't have to get quite as picky or spend as much money on buying all these different things when you're first starting out. Obviously, when you start out, you're going to need a method of melting your wax. You're going to need wax. You're going to need wicks. You're going to need vessels, and you're going to need fragrance oil. You're going to need a thermometer so that you know the temperatures to get that wax to and when to add that oil. But things like, for instance, we have a timer on there that we use in all of our shops. It's super inexpensive. It's like $8 or something like that. It's what we use because we lose track of time as we're stirring while we're producing. We all know that when you're stirring wax for, say, 3 minutes, it's like the longest 3 minutes of your life, because after 30 seconds, your wrist hurts, whatever. So we buy these and we have these in all of our shops, but you can also just use your phone, and you can use a timer on your phone. So you don't have to buy everything on that list to start your candle business with. In fact, if you're in our Candle Business Pro candle making course or the boot camp, we actually give you a condensed version of the supply list of exactly what we teach with. So just keep that in mind as well if you were to go down that route. So next question here is from Bethany. How long do candles need to sit to cure before they are ready to be sold? So it's going to depend on which wax you're using. Every wax is going to cure at different rates. Now, the biggest thing is, on your supplier's website where you're buying that wax from, will give you some guidelines, and they're going to be pretty good guidelines. And some people say be leery of what the candle supplier suggests. But here's the thing. The candle supplier, regardless of which one it is, they're in the business of making money just like we want to be with our candle business. They're going to give you information that's going to give you the best performance of that candle so that you can sell that candle, and then you can go back to them and buy more supplies from them, right? So look at what the supplier suggests, start there, and then modify as you see fit. Now, when we first started, everyone promoted and still promotes, a lot of people, not everyone, will say that you need to wait 2 weeks for a soy candle, right? That you need to wait 2 weeks for this to cure to get maximum performance. However, that's how we started. We don't do that anymore. 5 days is all we're concerned about. 5 days has done just fine. We have tested thousands of candles by now, and we will pull candles from that are sitting on our shelves for months, and we will take a candle that we've had for 5 days of curing. We'll test them both, and there's virtually no difference in the scent throw that that candle will produce. So we will make candles. In fact, if it's a custom order, something we have to get out, we make those candles. We will ship them out tomorrow because by the time they get to the destination and then it's put on that shelf for this wholesale order, and then a customer purchases it and then they gift it to someone or they take it home, it sits there for a day and then they light it. By the time all that's done, your candle is 100% cured, right? It's cured, it's ready to go. So I don't get caught up in um telling people when they make a purchase on my website that it has to wait 2 weeks before I can mail it to them and all of this. You're not going to make money. You're not going to sell candles if you tell someone they got to wait. So that's just the reality of it. If I sell out of this candle today, I'm going to make this candle tonight or tomorrow. It's on my website. I want people to be able to buy it right away. We've been in this business only 3 years now. We've got 3 shops. We've sold thousands of candles. We've never had someone come back and say, "Oh, I bought this before, and now that I've bought it, it doesn't smell the same." Don't get in your own head about how long it's going to take to cure. At least wait those minimum guidelines. If it's especially when it comes to your testing. When you're testing, sure, wait the 72 hours, the 5 days, whatever the supplier suggests for that wax. That's fine to wait that for your testing. Because if a candle gets into your customer's hands, it's going to be safe regardless of how long it's been curing for when you've done your testing properly. So once you've tested a candle, it's performing, it's not going to, your candle is not going to burn hotter on day 1, 2, and 3 than it would be by waiting 2 weeks. So you're not giving your customers an unsafe candle by giving it to them early. So just keep that in mind. And also just test a candle at 2. If your supplier says wait 2 weeks for soy wax, and I'm telling you, you don't have to wait 2 weeks for soy wax, you only got to wait 5 days and you're going to get optimal performance out of it, test it and see what you think. I guarantee you that you're probably not going to find a difference. So, but you asked for my advice, and that is my advice there. So that is it for this video. I'm going to have more videos coming out very soon. If you like this video, if you'll just give it a like, a thumbs up, subscribe, and you'll get all of these videos as they come out. Again, we have plenty of free resources in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.